What's up, my comic comrades? As promised a few episodes ago, today we're going to continue talking about Marvel's big event book right now, Empyre. If you guys don't know what Empyre is, fret not, we did an episode on both of the Zero issues, which gets you all caught up. You can find the link for that episode right there. In any case, today we're breaking down issues 1 and 2 of Empyre, so let's see how the story continues. Issue 1 of Empyre starts off where both the Avenger and Fantastic Four Zero issues left off, with the Fantastic Four caught in the middle of the Allied fleet forces of the Kree and the Skrulls. If you were unaware, that's the point of this whole event, the Kree and the Skrulls joining forces to fight the Katati. Anyway, needless to say, the Fantastic Four are completely shook at what's going on. But on the next page, the Thing tells Johnny maybe they're just trying to bring Earth a nice fruit basket. Reed and Sue then agree that whatever's going on, the Kree boy Joe Venn and the Skrull girl Nakala they saved in the Fantastic Four Zero issue have seen enough fighting. So they ask their children, Franklin and Val, to use the escape shuttle to escort them home safely. Reed initially gets some pushback from Franklin, but ultimately he does as his father asks. After they leave, Reed tells the rest of the Fantastic Four, alright, let's see what united the Kree and the Skrulls after a millennia of conflict. Sue then uses her powers to turn herself, the ship, and the rest of the Fantastic Four invisible, which not only makes them invisible to the eye, but also to the Kree and Skrulls radar. And as they pull up alongside the flagship command deck, Ben and Reed recognize who's sitting on the throne. Ben even says, hey, it's what's its name, only for us to see on the next page, it is none other than Hulkling, one of Earth's heroes and a member of the Young Avengers. Reed then says his father was Kree, his mother was a Skrull. In some ways, he's a natural choice to lead a hybrid army, but I can't say I was expecting him or his new allies. We then see Super Skrull behind him saying, my liege, a word, invisibility is one of the powers I wield as a Super Skrull. A secondary effect of that power allows me to see what is hidden from sight. Hulkling says, you're saying we have company? And Super Skrull says, esteemed company, my emperor. Let me show you. Behold, the Fantastic Four. Communication channels are now open. Hulkling then says thank you to Super Skrull and then asks the Fantastic Four, so I'm guessing you guys have questions. We are then taken back to the moon with the Avengers and the Katati. Basically, they're trying to figure out what their next move is to stop the Skrull and Kree from killing the Katati and of course, attacking Earth. And on the last 2 panels of the page, Swordsman tells She-Hulk, follow me, you'll need a weapon against the enemy. She-Hulk responds, Hulk no need puny sword. To which Swordman says, trust me, you'll need this. Follow. Koi then comes out saying to the Avengers, the Kree and the Skrull have united to destroy us, to burn this sacred ground. But once again, in our time of need, our greatest allies have united to avenge our sorrow. When this day is done, there will be a place reserved for you here in our garden, forever. Cap then says to him, thank you, sir. That means a great deal. We'll do everything we can to earn it. Then on the next page, we see She-Hulk holding a hammer, talking normal again like the She-Hulk we all know and love. She then says, it's me, Thor, really me. The resonance of the amber in this hammer, along with Katati medication techniques, they're helping me focus, calming the rage inside, but keeping the strength and the power. I honestly feel more alive than I have in years. Thor then looks at her concerned, saying, aye, well, good. Then on the next page, we see the Kree and Skrull ready to make their move on the Katati. As this is happening, Iron Man radios into the Skrull ship, with Reed saying, great Scott, what are you doing here? Tony then says, what am I? What are you doing, Reed? And is that Hulkling of the Young Avengers? What have you gotten mixed up in, kid? Reed then responds, narrative thinking would dictate that it was Hulkling who united the Kree and Skrulls, the prince taking his throne. But actually the alliance came first, didn't it? I'm assuming Super Skrull and the Pursuer, the rulers of the old regimes, made the first moves. But that could only go so far. Even in peacetime, Kree and Skrulls have maintained a state of Cold War. To truly bring them together, you need a new leader. One whom both sides could pledge allegiance to. A figurehead. And Hulkling responds, that's pretty much it, Dr. Richards. Hulkling says, I never wanted to take the throne, but taking the job meant I could save lives. The Kree Civil War was in full swing, millions dying every day until I called a ceasefire. Thor then says, and what of the Katati lives, boy? Your armada comes to murder them all. Hulkling replies, they'll have a chance to surrender. Super Skrull and the Pursuer told me they would. I trust them completely. And Iron Man's like, you're that naive, kid? Iron Man continues to say, you screwed up, kid, but don't worry, the Avengers will save you. Just stay out of our way. Ghost Rider, are you at the Quinjet controls? Ghost Rider replies, pedal to the metal, Mr. Stark, as we see him turn the Quinjet into a ghost Quinjet that's covered in his ghost Hellfire. I gotta say, it's always pretty fun and cool to see a new ghost vehicle. Hulkling then says, Super Skrull, Captain Glory, take battlefield command. Hold off the Avengers, but no enemy casualties. The rest of you, we make our stand here. Captain Glory then attacks the Ghost Quinjet, but Ghost Rider says, Ghost Quinjet, weapons hot, activate dual pennant stare, as he unleashes a Quinjet-powered pennant stare on all the ships attacking them. But it doesn't work on Captain Glory, as he says, Captain Glory doesn't commit sins, demon. I only follow orders. After this, Black Panther, in some dope-looking armor, along with Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, and Swordsman, come to help Ghost Rider. The heroes battle the Kree and Skrulls for a little while, but eventually Iron Man attached some device to Thor's hammer and has him chuck it at Hulkling's ship. But when it gets there, Hulkling just catches it with his sword of space. But that doesn't matter because the device Tony put on the hammer then activates, infecting all of the Kree and Skrull ships with a virus, making them lose control of all their own ships. Koi then says, "Thank you, Avengers, thank you so very much," as he reveals he is the true villain, having no intent of peace, as he dons some new armor saying, "We are now the Avengers." Koi, being able to control all plant life, uses any and all plant life he could find on the Kree and Skrull ships to destroy them from the inside out. Literally, he could use any vegetation carried in the soil the Kree and Skrull soldiers have on their boots. And since the Fantastic Four are on the Hulkling ship, there's even a panel where it's attacking them as well. And we see he's killing the Thing by having vines literally burst through him from the inside out. And then on the last page of the issue, we see Koi saying, "Let all the animal worlds fall, and the Katati rise anew, masters of the cosmos, as they should have always been. For here we plant the seed of the Imperium on this planet. We begin our empire," as he looks to Earth. So it's revealed Koi just wants plant life-based beings to survive. How poison ivy of them. This brings us to issue 2. On the first page of the issue, we see someone headed to Earth saying, now more than ever, the Avengers need to know what's on their doorstep before it's too late. But then on the next page, we see Koi is using his powers to restrain the Avengers. Thor then yells at him saying, "What is wrong with you? Koi, what lunacy has claimed you? You fought at my side. You were one of us." Koi says, "I was an Avenger of sorts. The first Avengers baby." We then get a brief rundown of Koi's history, and we see that he was originally raised to do good. But after his mother and Thor left him, the swordsman, his father, was the one who taught him most. And the swordsman, now being Katati, clearly led him down an evil and selfish path. We are then taken to the battlefield where we see the Katati have weaponized every scrap of plant life in the Kree and Skrull fleet. Captain Glory, She-Hulk, Black Panther, and more try to fight the swordsman, but he just escapes via a portal that's plant-based, similar to that of what the X-Men now have. We are then taken back to Koi and the Avengers, where Koi offers the Avengers solace in his garden as long as they don't intervene with his plans, as they helped him. They helped him unknowingly, of course, but they helped him nonetheless. But this is the Avengers, Earth's mightiest heroes. Of course they don't go for that, and while the Avengers are still tied up, Koi does the stereotypical villain thing, giving a rundown of how the Katati have been trying to take down the Kree and Skrulls from behind the scenes for quite a while now. But ultimately they realized they needed the Avengers' help, hence Koi tricking them into helping him. Thor then gets fed up of listening to all this, so he calls his hammer to him, freeing himself, Cap, and Iron Man. Thor then calls down lightning to strike Koi, but he escapes before it could hit him. And before he escapes, he says, "Savor this moment then, Avengers. It's the last you'll ever see." Black Panther then radios in saying, "Hey guys, looks like the Katati have arrived on Earth, and things aren't going so well." Meanwhile, back on the Hulkling ship, we learn that microscopic seeds are lodged deep in the cracks of the Thing's skin, and the plants are essentially killing him from the inside out. But Hulkling says, "Not on my watch, Dr. Richards," and uses his sword of space to destroy all the microscopic seeds lodged in his skin. Reed then says, "Hulkling, that sword." Hulkling then interrupts saying, "Standard issue magic sword, Dr. Richards, for the hand of the king. It comes when I call, goes where I send it, and it knows friend from foe." Reed then says, "More importantly, it seems to disrupt the Katati influence. If we could absorb and redistribute energy," and Captain Marvel interrupts, saying, "Not we, Reed, me." So after some discussion, they decide to imbue Captain Marvel with the sword's energy. They do this by having Hulkling stab her straight through the stomach. And as he does this, Captain Marvel says, "The pain explodes, and then I'm dead." But when the energy explodes out of her, it disperses everywhere and kills the Katati's plants. On the next page, Captain Glory says, "Welcome back to life," and Captain Marvel replies, "I was dead," and he tells her, "Very nearly. Your heart was dangerously arrhythmic. Fortunately, I was able to tune Ronin's old hammer to work as a crude defibrillator." The Pursuer, who now wields Ronin's hammer, offers Captain Marvel a place in the Kree Accuser Corps, while presenting her with Ronin's old hammer. And Captain Marvel says, "Against the Katati, I say we need all the power we can get." On the final page of the issue, Captain Marvel now holds Ronin's old hammer, with the Pursuer saying, "Rise, Accuser, take up your honor and your burden. Make ready terrible judgment that is yours alone to render. Bring glory to Hala and the earth as well, should it survive the coming pyre." And Hulkling says, "I'm sorry, the coming of what?" And Super Skrull tells him, "The pyre, my liege, the power and responsibility of the Emperor, the death of a world at your hands." And the comic ends with Hulkling having a face like, "What?" And that, my friends, is Empyre issues 1 and 2. Things have finally ramped up as we finally know who the true enemy is of this storyline. So I'm just curious to see where it goes from here. In any case, how are you guys liking this event book? Are you loving it? Are you hating it? Do you think it's just okay? And do you want us to continue to cover it here on the channel? Let us know all of that in the comment section. First up for the week of July 29th, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 52. As tensions rise between the Omega Rangers and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Kimberly takes it upon herself to interrogate their new prisoner. Next up, we have Batman Superman 10, Devastation in Gotham City. Following the events of a massive explosion in Midtown, Batman and Superman pick up the pieces and learn who rigged the atomic skull like a bomb. Next up, we have Spider-Man Noir issue 2. All I have to say is Spider-Man Noir is easily one of the coolest versions of Spider-Man. So if you like the character or just want to get into him, check out this 5-issue miniseries. And finally, we have Empyre issue 3. This is Marvel's big event book this year that has the Kree and Skrull teaming up to face the Katati. And just like that, my comic comrades, that brings another episode of Variant to a close. But if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps us out. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.